Welcome to the Work From Home Milspo Movement podcast, a place where we are meeting military spouses where they are at and providing real solutions to military spouse employment. My name is Lauren Lomsdale, and I am a 16-year Marine Corps spouse. I'm the owner of a creative marketing firm and the instructor behind the Work From Home Milspo courses, which teach military spouses skills to become creative marketing virtual assistants. I am here to provide insight into creating and growing your work from home career, either as a military spouse creative marketing assistant, entrepreneur, or remote employee. Join us as we create a movement towards better solutions for military spouse employment, combat financial insecurities for military families, and work to increase service member retention by helping increase the betterment of military spouse and military family mental health. Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Work From Home Milspo Movement podcast. My name is Lauren Lomsdale. I am the Work From Home Milspo, meeting military spouses where they're at. Now, I want to talk today a little bit about what the overhead cost is to running a virtual assistant business, to being your own freelancer instead of working for an agency, or even if you do work for an agency. I just had a military spouse message me on Instagram saying, hey, how much does it cost to become a VA? And I said to her, oh, here's my courses. This is what we have going on. This is our back to school discount. We have a cohort starting. And she said, no. I saw how much your courses cost. I'm interested in what other costs are associated with becoming a virtual assistant. And I thought, oh my gosh, it's something we talk about in a free webinar I have called Everything You Need to Know About Becoming a Creative Marketing Virtual Assistant, which I will put here in the show notes for you guys if you have not watched it yet. So we do talk about it, and it's something that I know people consider, but it's not something I really talk about outside of the courses, because that's usually what people are asking, right? How much does it cost to sign up for your course? And that is a great investment to start off with, but there are some costs associated with being a virtual assistant that people don't really consider. And there's some things that you can actually write off on your taxes that people don't consider a write-off or don't realize can be written off as a virtual assistant. So, my dogs are going at it. Hold on. They're like siblings. My older dog gets so annoyed when the puppy comes over and tries to play with him when he's sleeping. So if you hear the growling, it's him saying, leave me alone. I'm too old for this. Okay, so let's start off with first talking about what your costs could be when you start off as your own freelance virtual assistant. Even if you work for an agency, chances are the agency is not going to pay you for some of these programs that can be used with a multitude of clients, because as a virtual assistant, when you are a 1099 contractor, you are just that. You are a contractor. You are not using their platforms. You are using your own stuff in order to accomplish the tasks. So they're not generally going to reimburse you or pay you for something like a Canva or something like a platform like that. So these are things that you have to consider when becoming a virtual assistant, that these are costs associated with running your business. But at the end of the day, this type of business, whether you're a freelancer or working for an agency, has such little overhead compared to other businesses. When you're talking about brick and mortar businesses or product-based businesses, a service-based business like this has such low overhead that it is really easy to make a pretty high profit margin. When we're talking about business in general, a profit margin is basically how much money you make after all other expenses. So how much money are you gaining in profit? Now, a good profit margin across all industries is about 20%. My profit margin after paying virtual assistants, if I didn't have a virtual assistant team, my profit margin would be much higher, but I cannot run my creative marketing firm without my VAs, which is a testament to how much virtual assistants are needed. I currently have 12 of them. And so we need a lot of them. They don't work full time, but they do work for me a good amount, and I need them, every single one of them. So it is really, being a VA, the work is out there, but that's a different podcast episode. But a good profit margin, like I said, is about 20% across in all industries. For me, I make about a 50% profit margin, meaning as much revenue as I'm making, I make about 50% of that in profit, which is fabulous. That would be even higher if I was just being a solo entrepreneur, but I obviously wouldn't be making as much in revenue because I could not handle that much work on my own. So I have my virtual assistants, which take up a good chunk of my profit, but that's perfectly fine with me because they help me every single day in my business. And I am so honored to be able to employ military spouses in their journey as virtual assistants. So happy to do it. But yes, it does have some overhead, but very low overhead compared to other businesses. So what are some of the things that you can expect as costs as a virtual assistant? So one of the most common costs as a VA is your website. If you go through our course as at the Work From Home Milspo, at the end of the course, you will have your very own website, but you will have to pay for some of it. So there are some things that are associated as costs with that, which are pretty affordable. I hate using the word cheap, but they're pretty affordable in terms of a year-long expense. So when you have your own website, one thing that you're going to pay for is your yearly domain registration. This can be as little as $12 a year, sometimes up to $35, but I really generally see it around the $17 to $20 range per year. So that's once a year you pay that amount for your domain. That's your, mydomain.com. The .com thing is what your domain is. On top of that, you're also going to be paying for hosting. Now, depending on what platform you design on, in the Work From Home Milspo, we teach WordPress, Wix, and Squarespace. All of those you have to pay for hosting on. It is not free. So you end up paying anywhere between $18 to $22 a month on your hosting. The first year oftentimes is a lot cheaper because they give you kind of a promo for a year. So when I design on WordPress, I use SiteGround as my host. And for the first year, that's about $35 for the very first year. And then it goes up after that first year to, I think it's $17 a month. So whatever that is yearly. Again, not super expensive, but it is a cost. So right now you're looking at your domain and you're looking at your hosting platform. Outside of that, to design the website is not an additional cost to you unless you're purchasing themes or any other add-ons outside of that. In WordPress, I use what's a theme called Divi. Now, I have purchased Divi. When you're in the Work From Home Milspo course, you use my Divi license to build your website. After that, you're going to want to get your own Divi license, which as a lifetime license, which is my jam, I hate subscriptions, is at the time was $250. I'm not sure how much it is now. It has been about almost 2 years, so it may have gone up in price, but that is a lifetime license and you can use that on unlimited amounts of websites. So all of my WordPress sites, for the most part, are built using Divi. That has paid dividends because that is something I use all of the time, every day. My websites are built on Divi. Clients' websites are built on Divi. I use it all the time. Now, if you're building on Wix or Squarespace, they have built-in themes, so you can just utilize what they have. You can purchase themes if you want, but for the most part, you can use their built-in themes. On Etsy is a great place to find themes for for Wix and for Squarespace. So you can purchase themes from people on there, and it's kind of a complicated process. They basically assign you to a website. They send it to your email, and then you take ownership of that website and design from there. Anyways, that's how that works. So you've got your domain, you've got your hosting, and then possibly your theme or your builder layout if you decide to use that. You can design it free without purchasing those themes or layouts if you want on each of those platforms. So you've got those costs. The only other really necessary cost that I can see for virtual assistants to start off with that I would say 100% recommend, website is one of them. 100% you need a website to not only showcase your portfolio and what services you offer, but it's also a great way to have people connect with you and book a call. You can embed your calendar on there. And you can showcase your portfolio, things like that. But it also adds to your brand trust. Being able to say somebody, oh, hey, I'd really like to work for you, instead of saying, send me a DM or email me at myname@gmail.com. You can say, why don't you head on over to my website? You can book a call with me right here on my contact page. Take a look at my portfolio, take a look around at the website. it already speaks volumes about your professionalism when you have a website to showcase. So that is number one. No matter what, you need to have a website and you need to have a calendar attached to it. If you're interested in learning about how to book clients, I talk a lot about how to integrate your calendar into your website in our last podcast episode. So take a look at that. It's called 5 Things to Do to Book Client Calls. So take a listen to that. We talk a lot about how to integrate your calendar, make it easy for people to go from, hey, I'm working with you to actually booking a call. So the other really big tool that I would say that's pretty much 100% necessary is Canva. Canva is where I do the bulk of my design stuff, whether it's PDFs or any brand packaging type things, not logos. I do that in Adobe Illustrator, but most of our designs that we do, social media, graphics, are done in Canva. So highly recommend getting Canva Pro. That allows you a bunch of different tools. You can add brand kits for clients. You can do a ton of things in Canva Pro. So some of the things that we use outside of just graphic design and PDF design with clients, and it helps keep them organized, is when I do proposals, I write them in Canva and download them, save them as a PDF. I have the proposal template saved to my Canva. So when I have a new client, I already have a template saved, ready to go, and I can just input their information. We also use brand kits. So within Canva Pro, you can have tons of brands. I'm not sure if there's a limit. I haven't hit it yet. So you can have brand kits for every single one of your clients. So if you have multiple clients you're doing social media for, let's say, you can go and change the brand kit. So their logos are in there. Their color palette is already in there, and you're not going and inputting everything in manually every single time you go to make social media content or a new PDF design. It's already set. Their font type, all of that stuff can be set in BrandKit. We use that every single day. So on top of our proposal writing and our brand kits, we have those in there. And then we also have brand boards. So every single client, whether they do a formal branding session with me or not, I create for them a brand board, which includes their color hex values. It includes their logos. And includes their typography, so that I have something easily accessible to say, okay, this is what our branding is for this client. And then they also have something that's easily accessible, that they know what their branding is. So we do that for every client. So within the Work From Home Milspo course, I give you my proposal template and my brand board template for you to work off of for your own clients. But I highly recommend getting Canva Pro for you to utilize all the features of Canva. It gives you audio, gives you video, gives you photos that you can utilize from their database. It allows you to download things with a transparent background. It allows you to remove backgrounds from images. It allows you to download things as a SVG, which is a higher file type that's often used in graphic design. Tons of features that I highly recommend with Canva Pro. It also gives you access to more templates, all sorts of things. So Canva Pro is probably a must. That is $120 a year, I believe. 119, something like that, $120 a year, somewhere around there. Okay, so those are the two most important things that I would say are additional costs for running a virtual assistant business, which is, even if you work for an agency, you are going to want those two tools: your website, so your domain and your hosting, and Canva Pro. Okay, the rest of the things that I'm going to be talking about are nice to haves and probably want to have, but not completely necessary, especially as you're just starting out. So the first one I would say is Loom. This is what I'm recording on right now. This is what I record all of our course content on. This is what I record tutorials on for clients. And that is what the biggest part of what I use Loom for, are things for clients. So anytime I send a proposal to a client, I do a Loom video explaining the proposal. I have the proposal behind me, and I have a screen record that basically I go over and I say, okay, these are the parts of the proposal. This is what I mean by project management fee. This is what I mean by alternative logo. This is what I mean by brand package. And I explain the proposal, especially with my time difference being in Okinawa. I like to have this explanation available to them so that they don't have a ton of questions and they can really evaluate if this is a good fit for them without having to feel like they can't ask me anything or don't have access to me right away. So they can already get some of those questions answered for them. So Loom is a huge one for that. And then I also use it for any tutorials I send clients. When we're done with a website project, I always send tutorials on how to manage their own website, how to access it, how to change copy, how to change images, how to write blog posts, whatever it is. And I do that with email marketing. I do that with pretty much almost every project I have. I send some sort of tutorial for clients. And Loom is a great way to do that. You can have Loom for free up to 5 minutes at a time, but I do the paid plan for them so that I can have unlimited amount of time and videos within my library. So I think for that too, I pay $120 a year. I think that's what it is. But this is like an invaluable resource, and I probably use it almost every single day. Another recurring kind of cost that I have every month is my invoicing and contract program called HoneyBook. HoneyBook is what I use for my calendar integration. That's how I connect with clients, and clients book a call with me. So I use that for that. But then I also do all of our contracts, and all of the invoicing and recurring payments are done through HoneyBook. That is huge for me because this is not only a place where I can digitally keep all contracts for all clients, but all invoicing is done through HoneyBook as well. So I can easily write an invoice. Clients can pay it with a credit card. And then I can also set it up recurring. So if it's a recurring contract like social media management or email marketing, every month it will automatically, they'll pay it automatically. They don't have to go in and put their credit card information in. I don't have to sit there and write invoices. They just automatically their credit card is charged or their bank account is withdrawn from, however they've set it up. It is such a useful tool for running your business, but it's not necessary. If you are not ready to be at that point, you can write invoices manually and send them every month or however often you send them. You can write your contracts manually and have them sign it and send it back to you, and you keep it in a Google Doc. That is all really, really, easily can be done if you're not ready to be at a point where you want to pay for an invoicing system or a contract system. I pay, I think, $40 a month, $39 a month for HoneyBook. It starts off, I think, at the lower end at like $9 a month. So definitely something to think about as you continue to grow, but not totally necessary. I want to circle back real quick to the website part because one thing I forgot to mention, which isn't 100% necessary, but really is more necessary than not, is having a domain associated email address. I find this to be a huge brand identity and brand trust factor when working with new clients. So having an email that is your, hello@yourdomain.com or your name at yourdomain.com looks a heck of a lot better and a heck of a lot more professional than, your business name at gmail.com. Even though it is pretty much the same system, it looks a lot more professional and just gives you that credibility right out the gate. So I highly recommend doing a domain associated email address to set you up for success. This is as little as $6 a month through Google Workspace, or it could be free through your your website server. So even with like SiteGround and stuff, you can have free email with them through Wix and Squarespace. You might be able to. No, Squarespace is definitely Google Workspace now. I can't remember with Wix, but you could possibly do it for free with your email server. However, it is quite confusing to set up on your phone. I love using Google Workspace because it's pretty cheap, and you can set it up really easily on your mobile device. You can set it up easily on your, access it from anywhere on your computer. So Google Workspace is another one. Again, not totally necessary, but highly recommended. Tool that I use pretty much every day that is not necessary but has become useful to me is Motion, which is a AI calendar. Basically, what I do is every Sunday I'll sit down and I'll brain dump all things that I have to do, whether it's work stuff, family stuff, kid stuff, wife stuff, whatever. And I say, okay, this is everything that's on my mind that has to be done. And then I'll sit down and with my paper planner, which I have like 800 things stacked on top of it right now, with my paper planner, I'll go through and write down those brain dump tasks on the day I would like to get them done or that they have to get done. Then on my Motion calendar, which is on my computer on your desktop, I will take those daily tasks. So Monday, I'll sit down and say, okay, these are the 15 things I need to do, and I time block those and I set how much time I want to spend on each of those projects. And so that really helps me time block my day to say, okay, I'm only going to spend an hour on this and then I need to move on. Not only does it help keep me on track, but it helps keep me motivated to say, okay, I've only got an hour to get this done. Like, head down, Lauren, get yourself focused. Let's go. And so that really helps keep me organized and productive throughout my day. I only have 6 hours when the kids are at school. So I really need to utilize every single minute of that time so that I can be present as a mom when they get home from school. So that's another good thing to have, but not totally necessary. And a little bit on the pricier side. I think I paid $220 for the year for that. Other things that I pay for that I don't find completely necessary and you don't need right when you're beginning is email marketing. So email marketing, I have a huge list on my email marketing list. I ended up having to upgrade to pay for that because I had so many people. So that's one thing, that's a cost that you may come across as you continue to grow and as you grow your business. But again, you don't have to pay for it. It's not completely necessary. I don't even know how much I pay for that. It just pops up and my husband asks me what this cost is and I say, I don't know. It's my email marketing. Like, it just is what it is. But on the lower end, MailerLite is a great option. They have a free forever plan as long as you don't hit the max number of subscribers, which is like, it's pretty high. I think it's like 2,000 people or something, or 1,000 people, maybe something like that. Pretty high for like people who are just doing what you're doing as a virtual assistant. But that it's like $10 a month if you want to add on to any other paid features, or once you hit that subscriber amount, and then it goes up as you gain more subscribers. So that's a cost that can be associated with it, with running a virtual assistant business too, but definitely not necessary in the beginning. I am a business person and I am someone who wants to save money as much as possible. So there are some free tools that I use. Asana is something I teach within the Work From Home Milspo course. This is a project management tool. There can be a cost associated with it, but I use the free version and it works just fine for me. I have a million projects on there. I have all my virtual assistants with all of their tasks on there. And this is really what helps keep us organized as a business and as an organization to flourish and to meet all of our clients' needs. So Asana is a tool that I use that is free and I use it all the time. Obviously, you're going to have your social profiles, which are free, Facebook and Instagram. You don't have to get yourself verified or anything like that. Definitely utilize those as your tools that are free tools. Outside of that, those are really the tools that I find I use every single day and that are at cost. I have some other overhead costs like purchasing themes for clients or music or things like that. Some are reimbursed, some are aid into the cost of running the business, but those really come with time. Really, the things I would say as a brand new virtual assistant or newer virtual assistant, again, just to summarize, you're going to want your domain, which is around $20 a year, your hosting, which could be around $180 to $200 a year for your website, your domain email, which is $6 a month through Google Workspace. You're also going to want something maybe like Loom, not completely necessary, but something that I find very useful, but you can do the free version. Canva is probably necessary, I would say. You can use the free version of Canva, but upgrading to Pro really will be beneficial to you. So that's about $120 a year. And then invoicing system. Again, not necessary, especially at the very beginning. You can definitely do all of this manually, which allows for your contract and your invoicing and your calendar if you want. You can do that through something like HoneyBook. Calendar you can do for free with Calendly. You don't have to do the paid version if you don't want to, but really the biggest costs are going to be your website, your email, your domain email, and your those are going to be your biggest cost out of running your business for the very first time. I talk a lot about these different tools within the Work From Home Milspo course. I also give some free versions like a budget tracker and some things that you guys can utilize that make it really easy for you to start running your business on your own. Even if you're working for an agency, like I said, your email and your website and Canva are going to be things that you're going to want, even if you're working for someone like Squared Away, Wise Advice, Freedom Makers, VA USA, any of those people, you're going to want to have those things. So just kind of think about that as your associated cost with running your virtual assistant business. But let's just take a few minutes to talk about things that you can write off on your taxes. So all of these things that I just talked about, if you pay for them, can be written off on your taxes, whether you're self-proprietor or you're an LLC, which I talk about in other podcast episodes and I talk about over at the Work From Home Milspo course. I'm not going to get into that today, but the way your taxes are done are different for self-proprietor versus LLC. But either way, you do have business write-offs. And anything that I've just mentioned so far all can be written off as business expenses. They are not something that are personal expenses. They're all related to your business, your domain, your hosting, your Canva, your Loom, your Calendly, your email marketing, your project management tools, your Honeybook. All of that can be written off. That doesn't mean you don't pay for them. This is not Schitt's Creek where he's like, I don't know who pays for it, the write-off people. You do pay for things. They just are deducted from your total income of your taxes so that at the end of the year, you are liable for less income on your taxes. So let's say you make $10,000 for the year, but you have $6,000 in expenses. You're only going to be taxed on that $4,000 that you've netted as your income. So it's really important to consider that as part of your business growth and your business expenses, that those can be written off and lower your tax liability. There are things that can be written off that people don't really think about. The Work From Home Milspo course. That course in and of itself, the cost you pay for that can be written off on your business taxes as part of your business expenses. So that's a huge plus. Other stuff that can be written off, especially if you're working from home, even if you're living on base, you can write off the square footage of your home office as part of a deduction from your business. So that's another huge plus. We deduct a portion of my square footage of our house as part of my business space because I only do business in this space, right? This is not like a personal area. I mean, my dining room table is behind it, but this is my office and this is the square footage I utilize for this space is what can be deducted. We also deducted my desk, my computer, my ring light, my chair. All of those things are deducted from our business expenses because they were purchased in order to perform the business at hand. Another thing that can be deducted are percentage of your cell phone bill and percentage of your internet bill. So the amount of time you use your cell phone for business purposes, emailing clients, texting clients, social media, any of that stuff, and your internet, the amount of time you spend on the internet, on your Wi-Fi to perform business tasks, emailing, designing, whatever you're doing, utilizing your internet. You can take a portion of that and deduct it from your business or deduct it from your taxes as part of your business expenses. Even outside things you do for your business. If you meet a client for coffee, deduct your coffee from your business expenses. If you have a branded shoot for your business where you're doing headshots or branded photos, that session can be deducted from your business. There's tons of expenses out there that you are going to be performing for your business that can be deducted. You just really have to think about it and consider, are you doing it as part of your business or is it personal? If it's part of your business, it can be deducted from your taxes. So some of these expenses that I talked about, or all these expenses that I talked about, can be deducted from your taxes, which is a great thing to, sorry, hold on. Mom's calling. All of these things are great things to keep in mind when you're talking about the cost of starting your own virtual assistant business. Yes, there is a cost associated with it outside of learning the skills like you might do through the Work From Home Milspo, but all of these costs can be deducted from your business expenses. Doesn't mean you don't pay for it, but it does mean it lowers your tax liability just a little bit. And there are some costs associated with it. So, just keep that in mind as you're working your budgeting and thinking about how you want this business to run. At a minimum, you're going to want your website, your domain, your email, and Canva to really get yourself started in this business, even if you're working for an agency. So that's my 2 cents on that. But if you guys have any other questions about, how business runs for me on a daily basis, you can get kind of an idea of what this looks like. Again, I'm no longer a virtual assistant. I run a marketing firm. We have a lot more clients, a lot more virtual assistants. We have more expenses than just a regular VA, but I was once you. I was once a virtual assistant who was trying to just scrape on by any free version of anything that I could find and really trying to watch my expenses. And so I can really help point you in the right direction when you're just getting started. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to send me an email at hello@thewfhmilspo.com. You can send me a DM on social media. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. I give all sorts of things about being a virtual assistant, as well as discounts to the Work From Home Milspo course. We are in the thick of our cohort right now, so we are just only have our lifetime access open right now for our courses. So if you want to jump in and join us right now, you can. Great time to do it before the end of the 2024 calendar year. Otherwise, keep on listening, subscribe to our podcast to get more information about being a virtual assistant. And I will see you guys at the next episode. Again, this is Lauren Lomsdale, the Work From Home Milspo, meeting military spouses where they're at. Have a good day, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope we gave you some valuable insight into your work from home career as a military spouse. If you haven't already, we hope you join us over at the Work From Home Milspo membership, where you will learn the skills to become a creative marketing virtual assistant, as well as have the ongoing support of military spouses just like you, live trainings from me, and resources to use for yourself or your clients. Visit us at thewfhmilspo.com, as well as our virtual assistant agency made just for students, milspovirtualsolutions.com. And give me a follow on Instagram and TikTok to get more daily tips and information on remote work for military spouses. My name is Lauren Lomsdale, and I'm